softball.
Slow pitch softball. Hello and welcome to Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast brought to you by Meldon Law, a statewide law firm with its primary office in Gainesville, Florida, and also with offices in South Florida, covering the entire Tri-County South Florida area from Miami-Dade through Broward, through Palm Beach County, and also we are in Marion County, where we've been for 43 years. And Jeffrey, I know you're very proud of that brand new office, and we've got some exciting news coming up about that.
Yeah, June 16th from 4:30 to 6:30, we're having the grand opening of our new Ocala office at 1326 South Pine Avenue.
And are we allowed to let out of the bag some of the guests that we have coming?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, I'll leave that to you.
Anyhow, no, we got the mayor, the head of the Chamber of Commerce coming, Buddy Martin, and as our special guest, the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier, is going to be joining us for our Ocala grand opening, and it is going to be fun. Food, drink, music. We are going to have a blast, and we want to invite everybody in the community to come and join us, and there's going to be special prizes that we're going to let out slowly over the course of the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, we've already got some pretty big surprises. I know, Jeffrey, how hard you've worked on this. This is something that's not been weeks. This has been months in the making. You know, you took over this very unique building with, we've talked about it for weeks here on the show, kind of mid-century modern architecture, and it's very different, but a great building. You can't miss the sign out front. And I'm personally so thrilled about Coach Spurrier, Buddy Martin, and all the others.
Yes, we're really excited, and we'll keep you up to date on that as this show goes on and the rest of our shows before June 16th at 4:30 to 6:30, 1326 South Pine Avenue in Ocala. It's right across the street from the Advent Hospital that used to be Monroe Regional Medical Center.
And we'll figure a way to park everybody. So don't worry about parking. We'll figure it out. We don't care where you're from, what part of the listening area you're from, whether you're from Gainesville, South Florida, or anywhere. We want you to come. It'll be a great event. Jeffrey's had a long time presence there, and I think this will be terrific. But let's get right to our great guests. We've got some terrific people here, as well as on the second half of the show. We have with us today representatives from the Bread of the Mighty Food Bank in Gainesville. One of the most well-known and certainly one of the most important charitable organizations in the Gainesville area. We've got with us today, to my immediate left, Marcia Conwell, the president and CEO of Bread of the Mighty, and also Sherah English, who is the agency director. Welcome to the show, both of you.
Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate that. So why don't you just start off, either one of you, telling our viewers and listeners, what is the Bread of the Mighty Food Bank?
You want to start off?
Sure. So with Bread of the Mighty Food Bank, we work really hard to reach out to those in our area that are food insecure. We work with children, we work with seniors and families that are in 5 counties, and we just have wonderful partnerships all around that help us get this food out.
We've been here since 1987. Alachua is by far our largest county, and the food insecurity, which really tears you up, it's another word for hunger. There's 1 in 4 children that are going to go to bed hungry tonight. 1 in 5 seniors. That's people that has raised us, our mothers, our fathers, our grandparents. It's people like that that we try to reach each and every day.
You know, that's an amazing statistic because, you know, we're blessed and we don't go to bed hungry. And, it's something that really moves me when I hear that what you're doing is serving the folks most in need,
That's correct.
just of the basic necessities of life.
So where does the funding for you come from? And I've been by your facility on 10th Avenue, and I know people who work with you. It's a wonderful organization. Where do you get the food? Where do you get the funding?
We write grants.
Okay.
We go after a lot of different grants, large grants, small grants. We have private donors, private funders. We get a lot of our food where we buy it ourselves. A lot of people think that all the food is donated to us, and that's just not true.
Okay.
It'd be
It's-
too cumbersome and too difficult to
Right,
make that.
it's not, but a
It
lot of
wouldn't
people-
be reliable either, right?
Exactly.
Because one week you might get a bunch, and the next week
Right.
you wouldn't get enough.
It's very hard to
Yeah.
find. We try to put out as much produce. I think we do between 60 and 70% fresh fruits and vegetables out in the community. That's
Okay.
been my heartbeat, along with Sherah's, is to make sure we get the fresh food out to the children and the seniors, and just us working people along with meat.
Now, you work with organizations around the
correct.
community to help distribute the food,
And that's
right?
one of Sherah's many jobs.
Okay, so Sherah, tell us some of the folks that you work with that help distribute the food.
So a lot of our agencies are faith-based, but we do have agencies such as Grace Marketplace, Civic Media Center in Gainesville, and then of course
Boys and Girls Club.
Boys and Girls Club, and the schools. The schools help us out a lot to identify kids that are in need of food. And it's not like a backpack program where they take snacks home. We actually send things that the parents can cook with the children over the weekend when they're not getting those school meals.
Now, do you have the group, the faith-based group, or whatever the group is, deliver the food to them? Do they pick it up? How does that work?
Each agency is different. We give them a lot of leeway in how they want to run their program. But with COVID happening, most of our agencies are doing either delivery or drive-through.
Wow.
Right.
So we actually have a question on Facebook, and I forgot to mention that at the beginning. So thank you to Tabitha Miller for having the initiative to write a question. I want to, before I read the question, remind everybody that by all means, send us your questions. Just go right on the Facebook Live feed, type your questions into the comment box, and we'll do our best to get to it as quick as we can. So Tabitha's question is, I would love to help. How do I? That is sad that they go hungry without food.
That is, we deal with that every day. I've been there almost 25 years myself. They can call the food bank. We have a volunteer coordinator. We have Sherah, myself, there's 29 of us on
Okay.
staff. We can connect people in any way, whether they want to donate a can of green beans or $1 for every $1 that's donated. We can leverage 10 meals
Wow.
out of that $1. So there's ways that people can help. We have schools set up where we have a pantry in each school where the children don't have to bring home the food themselves. Say you or I would go there to the school, we would get food and take it home and prepare the meal for the whole family.
What is the phone number that people can call?
352-336-0839.
And if people want to donate money, what's the best way to do that?
They can go online, donate online, they can write a check, they can come by and see us.
And what's the website address?
It's Bread of the
My mind
Mighty,
just went blank.
breadofthemighty.org. And you'll be able to donate right on the website. That's the easiest way. You'll get a receipt immediately that you can have for your records. But we can take all types of payment. Whatever you're most comfortable with, we'll help you out.
So a person that has a check, if they wanted to come by, what's the address for the
P.O.
office?
Box 5086, Gainesville, 32601.
And what about just coming over to is there an office?
Yes, when you first walk in, we have 3 ladies that sit up front. They will greet them and see how they like to partner
And what's
with
the
us.
address?
Oh, you want that address?
Yeah.
That address.
It's 325 Northwest 10th Avenue.
And it's
Okay.
across from Cypress and Grove, which
That's
is
right.
a well-known
They're
destination.
a fabulous partner of ours, yes.
Yes,
Yes.
and yeah, that's a wonderful area too. I just see
For
so much
ins-
growth.
For
Yeah.
instance, what Sherah said a few minutes ago, there's ways that we get the food out. We partner with ASO, GPD.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with Assistant Lonnie
Okay.
who we take the food over to them. They load it up in the trunks of their vehicles, and they take it out into their destination that they work, and they take it to the families that are in need.
So they put in the patrol cars?
That's correct.
Wow,
So
that is
we
really
have
cool.
patrol cars.
Yeah.
So each patrolman or woman or whoever, detective, they have a jurisdiction or a beat that they call it. So we take fresh fruits and vegetables and meat and dairy and deli, whatever we have. We take it to the police department, and then they load their personal vehicles and they take it out into the communities.
You know,
It's
you know what I
fabulous.
love about that idea is not only are you helping the people, but you're integrating the
That's
police
correct.
into the
Oh,
community
in
a
a very
correct.
positive
in a very
way.
That is
positive
correct.
way.
We also work with the fire department as well.
They do a
come-
great job.
They
yeah.
come in and they have seniors that they want to feed, or they've been into a senior's home that a 911 call and they find they have no food. They come to get food from us, or Department of Children and Families. They do the same thing. They find that this family doesn't have food, so instead of giving another problem, they just call us and we give them food.
So how did you as an organization have to adapt when COVID happened? Obviously, that had a devastating impact
Oh,
on
yeah.
our and many other similarly situated communities. So talk a little bit about that, how it impacted the recipients of your
Right.
food and also your organization.
From an agency standpoint, we had a lot of agencies that were not able to stay open immediately after COVID because a lot of them are faith-based. So some of the churches weren't able to help us in the traditional way using the building. So they've moved on to starting mobile pantries where they'll say, hey, we're going to be at the park on this day. We'll send a truck, and then people are able to come to that park. Like I said before, a lot of them are drive-through, so they just drive right up and we put the food in their trunk and they're able to drive off. But what Marcia had said earlier, the fire department and some of the local agencies such as that stepped up when our agencies weren't able to. And so they were taking food out to Waldo, out to some of the smaller communities. Archer, yeah, and setting up those mobile pantries for us.
So,
That-
for example, I partnered with the mayor of Archer, and she sent her guys with their trucks every day and would get fresh fruits and vegetables and meat, whatever we had. At that time, we were receiving a lot.
Yeah.
You know, the restaurants were closing down, the bars were closing down, stores had more food because people weren't coming out. They needed a place to send it, and yay for us, we were the place that was the recipient of it. Cisco, the big,
Oh, yeah.
large, you know,
Wholesaler, yeah.
that's correct. So we would get truckloads, anywhere from 8 to 9 truckloads a day. So this had to go back out into the community. So we learned ways. We went from 9.1 million pounds of food to almost 20 million pounds of food in a year
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
with the same amount of staff. And we're all still standing.
Yeah. So one takeaway I'm getting from this, though, is that for individuals who want to donate, they can do it a couple of different ways. You,
Correct.
you will accept food. First
Correct.
of all, you can take food, and you can also make a financial contribution.
That's correct.
Absolutely. And we
Or-
can also take volunteers as well. If a group or an individual wanted to spend some time with us, like Marcia had said, we have a small staff and we rely on volunteers a lot. So they come in and help us sort the food, they help us pack the food up, and even sometimes they help us distribute the food.
How did you come up with the name, Bread of the Mighty Food Bank?
Von Gregg, the gentleman that started this, he was in prison in 1984 through 1986. And he decided when he got out he wanted to do something worthy.
Wow.
He went in for drugs and trafficking, and he was in there for a while. So he started it. Bread of the Mighty Food
Quite
Bank.
a redemption story. That's
Correct.
very amazing. We will pick this up after our break. We've got to take our first of a couple of breaks today. Want to remind everybody, this is episode 30. Hard to believe, Jeffrey. We started this back in November. We are now on episode 30. We've also got an outstanding guest coming up on the second half of the show. You've seen him on the show before, Bob Ganzak, my good friend, Jeffrey's good friend. He is the lead instructor and facilitator of the Gainesville Dale Carnegie course that's starting up in less than 2 weeks, actually only 1 week actually, the 26th. So he'll be talking about that. And again, you are watching Meldon Law and Friends, a service of Meldon Law. Take a look at our website, www.meldonlaw.com, and we will be right back.
The Gator Nation will be the first to tell you that in all kinds of weather, we all stick together, which is why Meldon Law is honored to be the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We hope you never find yourself the victim of a serious accident, but if you do, our team is here for you. Gators won't back down from a fight, and neither do we. When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em.
Hello and welcome back to today's edition, episode number 30 of Meldon Law and Friends, a service of Meldon Law, a statewide law firm with its primary office in Gainesville, covering the entire state of Florida, South Florida, all the way up through Ocala, the whole state. Jeffrey, I know one thing, of course, you're very proud of is the fact that we are the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Did I say it right?
You got it right, Chris.
I did. We've been working on this for actually a couple of weeks. I usually get one or two words wrong, but got it right. It's been an exciting time, to say the least. Even with the challenges in attendance, we had Meldon Law Day at the Florida ballpark. Disappointing result to the game, but the Gators still took the series.
Yes, we have had a great time in our partnership with the Florida Gators, and we're going to be continuing it. We are hoping that the Gators get some baseball love and get a regional, which we think they will. And we're getting ready for the fall. All the sports, including football, will be promoted by Meldon Law. And we are really want to thank all of our listeners who are helping support Gator sports. It's amazing what they've done during the COVID-19 pandemic.
It truly is amazing. And to all of those of you who have been each week going on the website, applying for tickets, please know how much we appreciate that. And there will be other opportunities, trust me on this, as games start getting cranked up again for the fall and everything else. Is there anything in the summer?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some stuff coming
up.
Okay.
Stuff going on.
We've got stuff coming up, so we'll tell you more about. How about the two of you? Have you been to the ballpark yet?
No, I have not.
It is
Not
gorgeous.
I have not.
I became a baseball fan again thanks to Florida ballpark, so it's a wonderful experience.
I'm sure it is.
Let's dive back into Bread of the Mighty Food Bank. And you were talking about the statistics, very sobering statistics. 1 out of every 4 children go hungry.
That's right.
Do you have any thought about, nationwide, community-wide? I was looking at some of the things you provided us, that you provide services to 5 counties, so it's many, many thousands of people are recipients of
That's
what
right.
you do.
Every day.
Now, I understand you do Alachua, Dixie, Gilchrist County, Lafayette County, and Levy County.
Yes, we do. And we also do, for our senior program, which is another one of Sherah's jobs, we also do Columbia, Flagler, and one more.
No, those are the two. So yeah,
Just
Well,
Marion.
that's-
Marion.
yes.
Yeah, so that's coast to coast. If you're doing Flagler
Right.
over to Levy County, that's a huge area to
That's
cover.
right.
You know-
So what is this, like a big warehouse where trucks are coming in and out all day long?
It's not big enough. It's only 40,000 square feet.
And I heard you
So,
say you're going to have another building.
Well, we've been praying and hoping for it for many years, but
Okay.
we finally just secured some land, made a down payment on it. Yay us, about 2 months ago. And we've been working with a couple different people, $8.1 million to get it built to do what we need to do every day.
And what size would that building be?
100,000 square feet.
Oh, so that's bigger than a Publix.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Well, we kind of hope it'll be right at the same, with loading docks, because we don't have that now. We have semi-trucks and regular trucks that come each and every day, and it's real hard for the guys to offload it and load it because we don't have docks. We do have electric pallet jacks and forklifts, so that's a huge blessing.
Well, that's so. Have you started a campaign to help fund
Not
this?
yet. That's going to be kicking off in the next couple months.
Can you help, let us know and we'll
Please.
promote it and let people know?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We are building, we can't do anything we do without trucks, refrigerated trucks.
Right.
Everything we do, the food has to be kept secure. We're responsible to make sure no one is sick, and so we have to transport it in clean refrigerated trucks, which we do. We have 2 trucks that are very old in our fleet. They cost us a lot of money to keep them going. So we're having 2 built right now.
Okay.
So if anybody would like to partner with us, we can put your name and logo on our trucks and can help us fight this hunger here in our county.
What does a new refrigerated truck cost?
They're $119,000 a piece. That's
Okay.
per John Cousins.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because John's in the car business.
That's
right.
correct. That's
Oh,
correct.
yeah.
John is a wonderful, just a wonderful individual.
Well, I've known John for at least 40 years, and, their family has really done a lot for the community.
Oh, yeah.
Like to remind our listeners and viewers, actually our viewers who are watching us on Facebook Live, we're taking questions. We are streaming live, we are broadcasting live, so whatever question you may have for our 2 wonderful guests and representatives from the Bread of the Mighty Food Bank, or for Jeffrey Meldon, whatever your question may be, type it in the comments section on Facebook Live and we'll get to it and, hey, make you famous on the air. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit more about some of the statistics you gave us, because I was reading them over just a moment ago, and it said before the pandemic, more than 35 million people across the U.S. faced hunger, and that rose to at least 42 million as a result of the pandemic. So are you seeing, as the things start to ease up with the pandemic, more people going to work, or is it really about the same?
It's about the same for us. We haven't seen a change. Actually, I think for us it went up about 400%.
Wow.
When you say
Yeah.
that's fair.
Right.
It really did.
Now, has it come back more to normal recently, or are we still in that?
Not for us yet, because there's so many people that lost their job. Kids are still home. They're still being educated at home. They're still not in the brick and mortar schools, so they're still having to feed the kids. So it's not back to normal by any means as far as we see.
Now, you say you use agencies, faith-based groups around the area, your service area, to help identify folks that need help?
We do it a lot of different ways. Like I said earlier, we work with the police department. They know where the hungry families are in their beat. We work with the fire department. They know people that are hungry and need in their area. Then one of Sherah's jobs and my job is to make sure the food's going to where it needs to go to.
So what about somebody who just calls you cold? I would imagine there are people watching this podcast right now who either know somebody
That's right.
in need of services, a family member, maybe they themselves
That's correct.
need assistance. Sometimes people are reluctant and scared to call. Sometimes people are afraid.
That's right.
I've run into this with people, clients of ours. People say, I'm afraid to make a call like that
see it all
because
day.
I'm afraid that maybe my children will get taken away.
Oh,
That's
see it all day.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah. So how do you address that?
We-
Somebody calls you, they're afraid of what might happen to their
We
family.
take care of them. There's no questions asked. They don't fill out anything. We don't
Great.
look at their identification. We're working with a lady now that they are homeless. And if I talk too terribly long, we'll be crying. She's got 3 children and they're homeless. They live in their car. We feed them. We let them clean up in the bathroom. They're educated here. This is in Alachua County. This is where we live, go to school.
That's
Neighbors.
heartbreaking. You know, it's happening right here, right under our noses.
That's
And
correct.
No matter where they are in our service area, if you call us, we can set you up with an agency that's close
take care of
by. So you
yourself.
don't have to drive to Gainesville. We will definitely set you up with one of our agencies that's close to you and could possibly bring it to you.
And if not, people call us. They ask for me personally. They ask for Sherah. We meet them at the front door. We meet them where they're at with their needs.
So I want to find out, Marcia, how did you get involved with the group?
Long time ago, Ann and Jim Boyles, who were people that I loved very dearly, they were like parents. I came to help them. I worked in a for-profit world, and I just wanted to help them. They were an elderly couple that gave all they could give to the food bank. She couldn't see, he couldn't see, but they were there every day. They were in their 80s. I just felt like I needed to help them, and then I never left.
Wow. Oh, they were involved with
Yes, they were.
the-
They were running the day-to-day operations
Right.
when it was across the street where GPD is now on 6th.
I see.
Yeah.
That's where we used to be.
Okay, I forgot that landmark. You're right next to
Yeah.
GPD.
And Sherah, how did you get involved?
I worked for Publix as a customer service manager for 8 years, up in the Carolinas and in Georgia and the new market as Publix was rising up. And I just felt called one day to start working at a food bank in Jacksonville at Feeding Northeast Florida, which is basically the same as us, but in Jacksonville. And I got transferred over here to work with Marcia, and so I've been in food banking ever since, and I love it.
So is there a network of food banks that help service?
There's 12 across the state of Florida. We're all under the have you ever heard of Feeding America?
Yes.
Okay, we're under their umbrella.
Yeah.
So you help, so you get some government funding?
No, sir.
Oh, you don't?
You
Is
do
it
not.
all volunteer?
No, we, government, Feeding America is not government. It's where Kellogg's or Kroger or a big corporation would make a donation to Feeding America. And that helps them, and then it dwindles down to some of us on the ground here. By the time it gets to some of us, it's very small. But we're under their umbrella, and there is 506 food banks across nationwide. And then in the state of Florida, there's 12 of us that take care of the whole 68 counties.
So for viewers and listeners who may be in different parts of the state, we've got a huge contingency in South Florida.
That's correct.
As well as in Ocala. So
Right.
take those two areas to be specific. Would they go through the Feeding America website, or what should they do?
No, anybody could Google food banks, and it
Okay.
would pop up today's technology.
Okay.
It would pop up what food bank is in their location.
Okay.
Well, that's really amazing. Do you have any idea, an estimate of how many people you serve during the year?
With the drive-throughs, it's a little harder to get that exact number because a lot of we took that pressure off the agencies of counting families as they come through. So they do give us a feedback on how much pounds they get rid of, but most everything we do is in
Pounds.
terms of pounds.
So tell us.
Let's hear the pounds.
So
I want to hear the pounds.
yeah, this past year because of COVID, we did 18 million pounds, close to 19 million
Out of that
pounds.
store right there on 10th?
Yes.
Yes.
So our
Holy
our
smoke.
year starts October 1st.
Yeah.
So I just pulled the poundage report 3 weeks ago. So from October 1st until 3 weeks ago, we're at 13 million.
Yes.
Wow, but did you say you were doing much less than that?
9 million was usually our cap for the year.
That was
So
our
you-
average before COVID.
So you're doubling what you
Oh,
used
yeah.
to
Oh,
do.
yeah.
Or
Do you have
more.
any activities or any fundraisers or things coming up, special events?
Well, we have had in the past empty bowls, and we haven't been able to do it because of COVID. Our event every day is making sure we're all there to do what we need to do each and every day in the warehouse. That's our daily event.
Wow.
To be serious with you, this is my heart, Bread of the Mighty, as well as Sherah's. And if people came by there and saw exactly what that big cement cold building did, because of that place, there will be someone that'll eat tonight.
That's wonderful. Well, are you doing tours if somebody
Yes,
wanted to come
yes,
by? Okay.
Absolutely.
No, because food makes tomorrow possible.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that doesn't have that.
You gotta bring it.
Yeah, I just have to say, I'm just blown away by what y'all do.
It's wonderful.
I live in the neighborhood. I know where you guys are. I've, admired everything you've done over the years. And to think that 1 in 4 children in our community go hungry is something that is hard to kind of wrap your head around.
Right.
And you come here and you're amazing ladies, and we really want to thank you for
Very much.
Thank you for having us.
Real quick, the phone number is 352-336-0839. The website is breadofthemighty.org. Sherah and Marcia, thank you so much for being here with us. We will be right back with Bob Ganzak, the facilitator and director of the Gainesville Dale Carnegie course that's starting up in 1 week on the 26th. Again, this is episode 30, Meldon Law and Friends. Thank you so much for being a part of this. We'll be right back. Thanks again.
When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down.
Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em.
Well, I was in a truck accident. Because of the accident, I've resulted in 3 back surgeries. We saw advertisements on TV, and guess who popped up more often than not? It was Jeffrey. The communication that he provided was so appreciative. He shows his compassion as a human. He assisted us in achieving one of our dreams, the acquisition of a home, and we're here today with smiles on our face with the assistance from Jeffrey.
And I was in an accident. Someone ran a red light and hit me, and I was hurt. You don't know where to turn. Luckily, I called Jeffrey. These big insurance companies, they don't want you to win. They truly don't. But Jeffrey and his firm and the people that work here, they just really fight for you. You call the law offices of Jeffrey Meldon, because you're going to need help, and they will help you.
The Meldon Law Firm from the beginning has been built on giving back to the community. I enjoy coming to work as much today as I did in 1971 when I opened my practice. I don't look at this as a job, I look at it as serving other people. While we're alive, what better feeling can you achieve than knowing that you've helped other people and thereby you enrich your own life?
Being a client at Meldon Law was special because I felt like I was really being listened to, and I felt welcome by the entire staff. If I were in a situation where I needed legal advice and help, I would absolutely reach out to Jeffrey because his reputation alone speaks for itself. But on a personal level, I know that he would take care of me and help me solve those problems, and I would feel safe with him.
The Gator Nation will be the first to tell you that in all kinds of weather, we all stick together, which is why Meldon Law is honored to be the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We hope you never find yourself the victim of a serious accident, but if you do, our team is here for you. Gators won't back down from a fight, and neither do we.
Hello and welcome back to today's edition of Meldon Law and Friends. Today is Tuesday, May 18th, 2021. This is episode 30, and we are very, very proud to have a repeat guest. He's actually been on at least once, maybe another time. All right. We've had so much fun, I can't even keep track of all of them. Our good friend, Mr. Bob Ganzak, the facilitator, director, manager, throw in all the terms we can. He does it all for the Dale Carnegie Gainesville course. Carrie's taken it, I've taken it, and Bob, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much, Chris. Appreciate it very much.
So we've got another seminar coming up, another training coming up. Let's talk about it.
We begin again next week, Wednesday, the 26th of May, 6 to 9:30 at Hotel Indigo, Celebration Point. And we're all set to go.
So, Bob, I wanted to have you explain to our viewers and listeners, what is the Dale Carnegie course all about? I understand it goes for 8 weeks, starting next Wednesday from 6 to 9:30.
Correct.
And what can people expect from this?
Well, we cover 5 key areas, and many key areas within the 8 weeks, but 5 that we really focus on, which we call drivers, which are the drivers to success, which are building confidence, your people skills, communication, leadership, and managing stress. With those 5 things, you pretty much, as we hear so often, it changed my life. When you can master those 5 things, build your confidence in areas that maybe were a little uncomfortable before. And then those people skills, as we know, that's such a huge part of the business world. And when you can do that, you can be more successful in your job, your family, your friendships, your life.
Well, I know Meldon Law has bought into it. We gave you my son Kerry first, and then we got so excited about the results that we actually signed up 3 people for the winter session. Chris was one, and Ian Pickens was the other, one of our lawyers, and my wife Patricia. Okay, and so we're very heavily invested in fans of what Dale Carnegie course does.
And your wife was a splendid
I will attest to that. Life of the
ball
party.
of enthusiasm. I will say that. We had a wonderful time.
We did.
And she was a great student, too. I mean, so was Chris. Chris won the highest award of achievement in that class, which in each class there's one individual that is voted on by their peers as that individual that most exemplifies the Dale Carnegie system. And Chris was the winner of that in his class.
So I got to be there for just a the beginning and the end, and I saw some of the presentation. What amazed me was the variety of people that come to that. It's not just some bank presidents or whatever.
Correct.
Talk a little bit about that. Well, who are some of the folks that you think are you can help the most?
Anybody that wants to improve themselves. I mean, it doesn't. We do have CEOs, and when we tend to talk about it, we talk about Warren Buffett, we talk about the presidents, we talk about all the famous people. Yet, out of the 10 million people that have gone through the program over the years, it's the moms and dads, the people that want to grow and build themselves some way in the business industry or just in their lives. So it's common people like myself. That's what I was when I walked into the class. I had no idea in 1991 what the program was about.
Tell us about your experience.
I had just been given a management role in a radio station, and Jeffrey, I had no idea what I was going to do. So I signed up for the Dale Carnegie course. I had to wait a year because it was sold out, and they only came to my little town once a year, and we had 44 people in the class. So I had to wait a year, and then I went through the program, and it was like, wow, this is really different. Just those anxieties you get when you meet people sometimes. You go to a chamber function and you don't know somebody there, your best buddy didn't show up, and you're like, oh, how am I going to meet these people? We give you tools of how to do that, how to conquer that, and it's amazing.
Name memorization, that's one of my favorite.
Yeah, so Kerry, why don't you were the guinea pig from Meldon Law. Why don't you talk about what your experience was like?
Well, first of all, Bob has been a mentor to me even since the class. So, Bob, I want to thank you for taking part in helping develop me as hopefully a better leader within not only our own business but within the community. And I think it's interesting the importance of self-discovery. Sometimes we view ourselves differently than how other people view us. And I think the Dale Carnegie course allows you to keep your genuineness of who you are. It's not it's not about being fake. It's about trying to be able to allow other people to see your best self, and honestly create those significant connections. So, there's a lot more to it than just that. Obviously, there's lessons that can be taken for some people that are more important than others. But I thought the Dale Carnegie class, for me, was an incredible experience. In fact, I didn't even tell you this, but last Wednesday I was in Gainesville before I was going to head back to Fort Lauderdale, and I was out to dinner at the new Prime and Pearl restaurant located in Celebration Point. Any of our listeners out there, if you want to enjoy a great steak, you can check it out. It's in Celebration Point, and that's where Spurrier's Gridiron Grill is going to be opening up soon, which is going to be incredible. If you listen to the podcast, you know that there's going to be nothing like that Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in North Central Florida. But Prime and Pearl, had a couple of our graduates from our class there.
All right.
And I got to sit down and we had a great conversation, and they invited me to come join their group every Wednesday and just talk about whatever we wanted to talk about. So the lasting relationships, the lessons, the self-discovery, there was a lot of business leaders in that course from different aspects of life, from consumers to providers like doctors. And I think for me, it was interesting to see how everybody viewed themselves and how everybody was able to reveal a little bit more of their genuine self, for better or for worse, sometimes throughout the program, but for mostly the better, I would say.
We actually had a question on Facebook Live, and I want to remind everybody watching us on Facebook Live, if you have a question for Bob Ganzak or any of us, we all have a connection in some way, shape, or form to the Dale Carnegie course. I, too, share Carrie's sentiment, how wonderful a course it was, and I'll talk more about that later. But our question is, how many U.S. presidents have taken the Dale Carnegie course?
Well, I would have to refer to my friend Freddie Wiebe for that, because he is the statistician of the historical side.
Freddie, how many presidents?
Everyone since 1934.
So every president since 1934, if you can count those up, that's how many have gone through the program.
That's pretty amazing. Well, and I think the takeaway, like Carrie and Jeffrey were saying, not everybody is a CEO, not everybody is a manager. I mean, one thing that I observed, all of us are leaders at one time or another, no matter who we are, no matter what we do, whether you work in sales, whether you work in the health industry. Gosh knows how many of those we have here in Alachua County and Gainesville, working in Shands and whatnot. Whoever you are, whatever you do, we all can use some sharpening of the saw when it comes to our communication skills. I mean, for me, public speaking has never been hard for me, and the thing I learned was it's one thing to be a good speaker, it's another to be an effective speaker and to get your point across to where people are open and receiving what you say. So we all can learn something, and it was terrific.
Well, on my way down here today, driving here, I was talking to my sister. My sister's 3 years older than I am, and I was encouraging her to, go out and she's a massage therapist, and I was encouraging her to start, talking about it. Go out and sell it. She goes, I can't talk to people. I can't do that. She lives in Panama City Beach. And I said to her, Susie, everybody has it inside of them.
Exactly.
It's just finding somebody that can tap into it and help you bring it out. That's what it is. We only use about 10% of our God-given talents in any area. And just think of how much growth is available there for you. And when you can tap into that, if you just raised it 3 points to 13, that's 30% increase.
Sure is.
It's an amazing thing. And we help people do that. So, Marcia, that was on earlier on the podcast earlier, she was asking me, she goes, well, that's way over my head. I can't do that type of a program. No, you're the person it's for.
Exactly.
You're the person it's for. So I encouraged my sister to go out and find the Dale Carnegie class. I told her I'll come over and coach you myself.
And I think an important point also, Bob, is that it's not a lecture class.
No.
Nothing even remotely close to a lecture class. It's participatory, one-on-one, small group sessions. You'll never get bored in a Dale Carnegie class.
No. It's not a talk about class, it's a do it class. So it's an application. It's like putting sunscreen on. If you don't put it on and apply it, it doesn't work. You learn something, you apply it in your life, and wow, it happens.
So we have another question. How many weeks is the course, and what day of the week? It used to be Tuesday, so this is different now.
Well, we thought we would change it a little bit.
Okay.
So we moved to Wednesday night, and we
Okay.
start next week, the 26th. It's 8 weeks, and you basically have 2 sessions each night. There's a first part of the night and a second part of the night. And it does move very quickly. There's a lot of interaction. You will have friends for life, the people that go through the program with you. It's an amazing thing that you bond that way with individuals.
Like Carrie was saying earlier about how he's bonded with the people from his class. Same thing with my class that I just completed. We're staying in touch. We've got an email chain, a text chain, and getting together. So it really is incredible. In fact, Evan Miller behind the controls was in the class with us. So, Evan, you were great.
Hey, so I want to again explain to our listeners and viewers how they get to sign up for the course.
Well, you can go to our website, jacksonville.dalecarnegie.com, and go to find a course, and you will get the one that is in Gainesville, and you can register right online. Or you can call me, which we will hopefully will put the phone number.
Well, why don't you just give our listeners the phone number right now? 229-506-1387.
And there is a link on the post, on the actual broadcast right now. So if you're on Facebook Live, we do have a link on there. We've got to take a break.
Okay.
You know the drill. You've been here 3 times. So we will be right back in 60 seconds with Bob Ganzak, the director, manager, instructor, facilitator, everything when it comes to the Gainesville Dale Carnegie course. You are watching Meldon Law and Friends, a service of Meldon Law. Thanks again for being part of the program. We got one more segment. We'll be right back.
When you're a member of the Gator Nation, you know what it means to never back down. Meldon Law has been a proud supporter of the Gator Nation since 1971. Two forces that won't back down. As the old saying goes, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em. The Gator Nation will be the first to tell you that in all kinds of weather, we all stick together, which is why Meldon Law is honored to be the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. We hope you never find yourself the victim of a serious accident, but if you do, our team is here for you. Gators won't back down from a fight, and neither do we.
Hello and welcome back to Meldon Law and Friends, a weekly podcast brought to you by Meldon Law, a statewide law firm. Our primary practice areas are personal injury cases, meaning we represent victims of car crashes, big truck crashes, what we call premises liability, trip and fall, slip and fall, animal bite, any type of case that results in injuries due to the negligence of someone else or some organization or entity. Give us a call anytime, toll free, 1-800-373-8000. You'll speak probably to this guy or that guy over there, the two owners and partners of the firm, Jeffrey and Carrie Meldon. And we also handle criminal defense cases as well, including DUI defense. With that out of the way, I want to go back to our good friend Bob Ganzak, the manager, director, and facilitator of the Gainesville Dale Carnegie course. We talked about the fact we got a new course coming up 8 days from today. It'll be starting on Wednesday, the 26th of May at Hotel Indio, correct? Indigo. Okay, forgot the G. And people can sign up right up to the start of the class, although we encourage them to do it in advance.
It helps if it's a couple of days in advance. If you want to come out that night, please do. We have people that come out week 1 and sign up. They kind of taste it a little bit, and then they say,
Sure.
I want to be in here. Yet it helps that I can get you some of the materials beforehand. We can have a conversation before you start the class and be ready to go on week 1.
And what is the size of the class you're looking for generally? It's not like 100 to 200, it's much less than that.
We have anywhere from 15 to 30 people in the class.
I see.
It's a good group, good size to be able to work in small groups with individuals, plus large enough that when we're in front of the whole group, you get some of that impact also.
Bob, I wanted to ask you, what kind of sense of fulfillment do you get from running these courses?
Oh,
Good question.
my goodness. My passion is to help people do things that they never dreamed they could do. There's some, whatever it is. If you're a CEO and you want to go to the next level, I love to help you. But that individual that's maybe coming out of UF, that is a little shy, has an engineering degree or something that they wish that they could just be a little bit more outgoing. I love to help everybody achieve something that they never dreamed that they could do.
Well, I know you have been doing this a long time, and I can tell you from personal experience that You've got a reputation as being the best of the best when it comes to
I would agree with
running
that.
the course. And I want to stress again to our listeners that the Dale Carnegie course is an investment in your life, in a better life, both personally and professionally. It's not just professional.
Oh, absolutely.
Talk about personal growth a little.
Well, one of the things I say in week one all the time is that you'll become a better husband, wife, brother, sister, mother, father, grandparent, plus a better business leader. But I usually start with that personal thing, because that's what we are 24/7. I mean, that's who we are. Mm-hmm. And it's just that interaction. I mean, I think of week 5 when we learn about not using that one word, like the word but, and how many,
I'm working on it.
And how many times you start an argument because you don't listen really well, or you tell them I'm not listening.
And then there's your
words.
2 ears, 1 mouth theory.
Yes, definitely. So, and Mr. Carnegie, he wrote the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, which the course is built off of that, which was in some areas the #1 business book of the 20th century. Still ranks up near the top in the 21st century. Mm-hmm. And the book was basically organically, that was not a term back in the 1930s, but it was organically done. As they listened to people in his public speaking class talk about different things, he was writing little notes. And that book took years and years and years to write. But it was just all about the interactions with other people. And when you read the book and you hear the stories from the Rockefellers and the Roosevelts and different individuals that he basically culled the data from, it's amazing.
Yeah, he started in the 1910s.
1912.
Right.
1912, and developed over 25 years all the information that formed the basis for what he wrote about in the book.
Correct. And he had hundreds of people that helped him. He hired people, and they would come in, and many of the stories I've got to hear about the man, he was, I mean, when you think of the word integrity, he's one of those people that goes with that word. It's just over the history of life, he was that kind of an individual. And he passed away in 1955, and you think the legacy of who he was, it just lasted. And that had to do with his wife, Dorothy, who really took the reins and drove the company forward from 1955 until she passed in 1998.
It's really incredible. Almost 70 years later, here we are, and you're still doing these courses. It's one thing I've talked about is I read that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, more than 40 years ago. I was an undergraduate in the late 70s at the University of Florida. I was a journalism student, and I was taking a public relations class, and that was our textbook. And I remember reading at the time and thinking, wow, this is great. These are some amazing universal truths. And when I took this class, it took on a whole new meaning, because it wasn't just reading, lecturing, absorbing the words on the printed page. It was putting them into action. Mm-hmm. And I think that is what makes all the difference and why this course is so effective.
You mentioned textbook at the University of Florida.
Yeah.
We do have some colleges now. Middle Tennessee State University, the Dale Carnegie class is core for their business school.
Really?
So if you're going to get an MBA at Middle Tennessee State University, you're going to go through the Dale Carnegie course, which I just think is something that I wish we could do more of it in high school and in college. And the things you learn, just how to treat each other and communicate with one another.
If you're a business owner, I would strongly suggest that you reach out to Bob to not only, if you want to be enrolled in the course, but to put people within your organization into the course as soon as possible. I think there's been a long-standing tradition of some of the biggest corporations, not only the U.S. presidents, but the corporations that built America have had their employees take this course since it started.
Definitely. People I've worked with in Jacksonville and in this region, people like CSX, Northrop Grumman, Miller Electric, the HCA hospitals, a lot of individuals that that put their employees through. And I always like when the CEO, you mentioned the CEO, people like Svein Dirkelbatten, who doesn't point at his team and say, you go take this. He says, I'll take it with you. And I love that. When I see that, I've had a few of those CEOs from Lake City Medical Center and other places that have gone through the program with their team.
Bob, let's get that phone number again. And do we have that in the on the podcast link? We have that in there. Great. So those of you watching on Facebook Live will see the phone number. Let's go ahead and tell them one more time.
It's 229-506-1387. And that is my cell number, so it won't ring right now because Jeffrey asked us to turn the phone off.
He's on the show. What can you say?
Yeah, but Carrie, do you remember when you were a kid and I had the Dale Carnegie book and I used to bring it home and give it to you and Jessica and say, why don't you kids read this?
He used to give me all kinds of books. I remember what the Seven Habits of Highly Effective People was by Stephen Covey, was there next to the Dale Carnegie How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Napoleon Hill.
17
Principles.
Yeah, Rich Dad, Poor Dad a little bit later on when I was in my teens. I mean, it's never too late to learn, and I think that this course is, I mean, look, for a living for 15 years I argued, and I did. I was argumentative, and I spoke, and I had to put everything into every argument I've ever made before a court, because if it was appealed, I needed to make sure to set the record. So I would continue to say the same things over and over again in different ways. And I learned through this course that maybe had carried over to my personal life, and it was more important to speak less and listen more.
Correct.
And that was a really good reminder that, your professional life and your personal life can be improved at any moment in your life.
To be clear and concise. I mean, that
Clear and
is
concise.
one of the things that we work on. And like the communication you have within the room, we will time it so that you can start building up
He's
some
not kidding.
habits to get your message across. I mean, it's one thing to get a message across in 2 minutes, and then if we shrink it down to 90 seconds, all of a sudden people panic because it's a lot different. But you're learning how to be clear
Sure.
and concise.
I just thought of something, that brought back my memories of the course. We talk so much about improving business skills, communication skills, and it also can unlock the inner artist in us. I won't mention her name. She's a wonderful person, though, who was in the class with Evan and me. And she works at a bank. She does very, very well professionally. And she has this hobby that she's a painter.
Yes.
And one day she came and said, I was motivated to, and it was amazing. All of us are looking at this and saying, holy smoke, you can sell that for God knows what. The point I'm making is that it can unlock that artist within us, the creative side as well. So whatever you do, again, whatever you may be, wherever you may be on the ladder of success, or you're a creative person, such as this individual who all of a sudden, her face lit up like a Christmas tree, and maybe I should do more of this. So it really does make so many things work.
Carrie mentioned, it doesn't matter how old you are. I've had individuals, successful business people, 75 years plus, come into the class. And one lady told me it was always on my bucket list. I wanted to do this. And another gentleman, he asked me why I should take the class. He said, I'm 73 years old and I'm very successful, graduate of Georgia Tech, architectural engineer. Why should I take this class? And I just said to him, I want to improve myself right up to the last breath.
Wow.
And he said, okay. Where do I write the check? And he joined the class. So it doesn't matter where you are in life. You're right. Young, older, in between, always try to improve yourself.
Well, I will say this publicly. I am going to take the course, okay? And I've already got it planned, though. This semester, it falls right in the middle of my vacation break. Okay. So I've already planned to do it in the fall. And I want to encourage everybody else to follow our lead at Meldon Law, which is to encourage leadership and growth, both personal and in your business life, by going to the Dale Carnegie course. It's right here in Gainesville at Hotel Indigo every Wednesday night. It's 6 to 9:30. And when you think about it, 8 weeks, that's a very small investment to make a major change in your life in the right direction.
You got two guys right here who just took the course, and I know I speak for Carrie, saying it truly is a life-changing thing. So I can't give it a higher endorsement.
Thank you, Chris.
So again, we are about to come to a close on today's episode of Meldon Law and Friends, another great episode. If you didn't have a chance to see the whole thing, that's okay. We have it archived on our Facebook page, and we also have it on our YouTube page. Plus, it is available on 39 different audio platforms, everything from Amazon Music to Google Music. I can't name them all. There's a lot of them. So wherever you might be listening to audio podcasts, it's available there as well. We talked earlier about the huge day coming up in next month on June 16th, grand opening, Jeffrey. Steve Spurrier, any quick words on that?
Yeah, June 16th at the Ocala Meldon Law grand opening. It's going to be a great party, 4:30 to 6:30. The address is 1326 South Pine Avenue in Ocala. Everybody is welcome. This is a party for the community.
We want you all there. We want you there. So come on down. Carrie, anything in closing? We got a few seconds.
No, Bob, as always, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, Kerry.
Thank you for coming.
All right. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back next week. Catch you then.